So we are discussing about Git and GitHub. So real time FAQs, guys. So real time FAQs. Okay. So what they will ask, what is Git? What is Git, guys? What is Git? Git is a Git is a distributed version control system. What is that? So Git is the distributed version control system that tracks changes. The tracks changes in source code allows multiple multiple developers to collaborate and maintain projects history. What is this, guys? What is a Git? Git is a distributed version control system that tracks changes in the source code that allows multiple developers to collaborate and maintain the project history. So what is the second question, guys? Second FAQ is, so the frequently asked questions, the difference difference between Git and GitHub. So what is the difference between Git and GitHub, guys? So Git, what is that? Git, a tool installed, a tool installed locally for version version control. Version control. A tool is installed locally for the version control system. What is that, guys? It we can install. This is Git Bash. If you use the Git Bash, yeah. So this is the Git Bash tool. So you can use this tool and to install and work on the Git local Git, guys. So what is a GitHub? What is it? GitHub. What is a GitHub? A cloud-based cloud-based platform, cloud-based platform that hosts Git repositories. That hosts Git repositories provides collaboration features. Collaboration features. What are those features, guys? PRs means pull request. Pull requests, issues, actions, etc. So we'll do it. Then is, guys. Right. So what is the third question, guys? Third question is, what is the difference between Git clone? What is the difference between Git clone, Git fork, and Git pull? Git fork and Git pull. So what is a Git clone? You already know the Git clone, right? So a repository, copies a repository from remote to local. Copies a repository from remote to local. So what is fork, guys? Fork is nothing but a makes a copy of a repo in your GitHub account. Right. So this is nothing but the difference between, so the difference between Git and GitHub, Git clone, Git fork, and Git pull. So Git pull. What is a Git pull, guys? I already told you, right, guys? In the earlier sessions also, Git pull is nothing but it will fetches the changes and it will merge the changes. What is that? Git pull, nothing but Git fetch plus Git fetch plus Git merge equal to Git pull. So what is that? Fetches fetches changes from remote and merges them into in our branch. In our branch. Nice. So this is nothing but a git clone, git fork, and a git pull. So what is the fourth question, guys? Fourth FAQ. What is the difference? What is the difference between git fetch and git pull? What is the difference between git fetch and git pull? What is the difference between git fetch and git pull? Git fetch. What is a git fetch, guys? Git fetch is nothing but a downloads, downloads changes, but does not match them. Download the changes, but not match them. What is a git pull, guys? Git pull. What is that? Git pull. So git pull is nothing but a downloads and matches changes automatically. What is that? Merge changes automatically. So what is the fifth one, guys? What is the what is the difference between Git merge and Git rebase? What is that, guys? Git merge and rebase. What is merge, guys? So merge is nothing but a combines combines branches, keeps history, combines the branches and keeps the history. What is the rebase? Rebase is nothing but a reapplies. What is that? Reapplies commits on top of another another branch. Another branch that is nothing but a linear linear history. What is that? So linear history. So that is nothing but a the difference between merge and rebase. So what are the Git branches? So what are Git branches? Branches are independent lines of development. Independent branches are independent lines of development. They allow you to work on futures, features, bugs without without affecting the main branch. Without affecting the main branch. What are the Git branches? Branches are the independent lines of development. They allow you to work on the future bugs without affecting the main branch. Right. Seventh one. What is a head? What is a head in Git? What is a head in Git, guys? Head is a pointer that that represents uh, that represents that represents your current position in the repo. Current position in the repo. Usually pointing to the latest commit in the current branch. Latest commit in the current branch. What is the eighth one? What is a commit in Git? What is a commit in Git? So a commit is a snapshot. A commit is a snapshot of your code changes. Code changes with a unique hash author info and messages message. Okay, author info and message. So what is the ninth one? How do you how do you undo a commit? How do you undo a commit, guys? How do you undo a commit? How do you undo a commit, guys? You can use the git revert or git reset command. We can use it. So what are those? Git revert and git reset command. So creates a new commit that undoes the changes. Git reset moves the branch moves the branch pointer. Can be soft or mixed or hard. Can be moves the branch pointer, that can be soft or mixed or hard branch, right? So what is the difference between reset, revert and checkout? What is that, guys? 10th one is what is the what is the difference between reset, revert and checkout? What is the difference between reset, revert and checkout? What is a reset? Reset moves head and branch pointer. Mouse head and pointer can delete history. Can delete the history. Reset. Revert. What is revert? Creates a new commit. Creates a new commit that cancels a previous commit. That cancels a previous commit. What is checkout? Checkout is nothing but a switches, branches, or restore files. Branches are a restore files. So the 11th one is what are git stash? What are git stash and its use? What are the git stash and its use? What are the git stash and its use? Git stash saves your uncommitted changes temporarily without committing them. So So you can work on something else and restore later. You can work on something else and restore later. Okay. So this is nothing but what are the git stash and usage. So what is the next 12th? How do you resolve merge conflict? This is also the most important topics, guys. We already discussed in the previous class. Open, what is that? Open the conflicts, open the conflict files, manually choose changes, then mark as resolved, mark as resolved using git add file and git commit. So what is the next one, guys? That 13th one is what is a detached head? What is a detached head state in Git? What is the detached head state in the Git, guys? What is the detached state when head points directly? When head points directly. Yeah. So what we discussed, what is the detached head state in the Git? So when head points directly a commit instead of branch, if you make changes, they won't belong to any branch unless you create one. What is that? Head points, when head points directly to a commit instead of a branch, if you make changes, if you make changes, they won't they won't belong to any they won't belong to any branch unless you create one. Is understood? So what is the 14th one? So 14th one is what is a dot git ignore? What is a dot git ignore file? What is a dot git ignore file? A dot git ignore file. Ignore file tells git which files are folders to ignore, not track, not a track. Example. So what is the example, guys? Star dot log. So and node underscore modules and dot env. These files we need to ignore. What is that? We need to ignore the files. What is that? So 15th one. Oh, so what is the 15th one, guys? So 15th one is what are Git hooks? So what are the Git hooks, guys? Hooks are scripts that run automatically at certain Git events. Example, before commit or before push. Useful for enforcing policies or automating the checks. So what is that? Hooks are scripts. Hooks are scripts that run automatically at certain Git events. Certain Git events. Example, before commit or before push. Before commit or before push. Useful for enforcing useful for enforcing policies, useful for enforcing policy. Yeah, useful for enforcing policies or automating checks. Okay, so what is Git hooks? So now you understood. So what is the difference between Git RM and RM? What is that? What is the difference between Git RM and RM? So what is the difference between RM is the RM is the Linux command to remove the files or working directory. Deletes files from working directory only. What is that? And RM deletes file from working directory only. Okay. Git RM. What is Git RM, guys? Deletes files from working directory and stages removed for the next computer. Okay. So what is 17th one? What is a bare repository? What is a bare repository, guys? A bare repository does not have a working directory. It is mainly used as a remote central repository for the collaboration. A repository, bare repository does not have a working directory. Does not have a working directory. It is mainly used as a remote central repository for collaboration. For collaboration. So yeah, the next important one is cherry pick. What is a cherry picking? So what is a cherry picking in Git? So what is a cherry picking in Git? Git cherry pick. Git cherry pick commit allows you to apply a specific commit from one branch into another branch, one branch into another branch. So right. So what is the next one? Next one is how do you squash commits? How do you squash commits? How do you squash the commits, guys? You can squash commits into one using iterate interactive rebase. What is that? Git rebase icon I had built three. Okay. So what is the difference between git log and git rf log? So what is the difference between git log and git rf log? 18th, 19th. So this is the 21. What is the difference between git log and git ref log? What is the difference between git log and git log? Git log shows commit history for the branch. What is that? Git log. shows commit history of a branch. Commit history of a branch. Git reflog. What is that? Git reflog source local reference. Local reference changes where head and branches pointed previously. Got it? Yeah. So what is a work tree in Git? What is that, guys? What is a work tree in Git? So what is a work tree, guys? Git work tree allows you to check multiple branches simultaneously. Simultaneously in different directories. Different directories. Yes, understood. And 20 second. So what is the difference? What is the difference between Git pull origin master and Git pull upstream master? Okay, what is the difference between Git pull origin master and Git pull upstream master? So origin. So what is origin? Origin is nothing but your port, your folks remote. Upstream. Upstream is nothing but the the original repository remote. Okay. So how do you check how do you check the what is the difference between two commits? How do you check the difference between two commits? Git diff commit one, commit two, guys. Okay. So the difference between commit one and commit two. So this is nothing but a Git FAQs. Nothing but a Git FAQs. Is understood? So these all are the Git FAQs. These all are the Git FAQs. In the next session, we'll discuss about the GitHub. So real-time FAQs, we'll discuss it, guys. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.